Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Jay and Nichole's Learning Lab podcast. Today, we're bringing on Meaghan she's the CEO and founder of Florentis Learning. It's a new ESL curriculum platform, not a platform, it's more of like a curriculum, like we said. Um, and as always, we've got Nichole, and she is not wearing a bathrobe. That is actually a shawl. So everybody knows.
It's like your favorite thing to say tonight. It's like, are you wearing a bathrobe? She's not wearing a bathrobe. Trust me, it's not a bathrobe.
All right, Nichole.
Okay, y'all. I'm in the middle of a move, and I decided to I was tired. I didn't want to put on the Teacher Cole shirt, so my Zoom Teacher Cole shirt. So we're good.
So you're wearing a bathrobe.
I'm wearing a bathrobe. It's a shawl, y'all. Come on now. All right. So, Meaghan, I've actually been poking around just in the last hour or so on your website because I'm such a forward thinker that way, and this is really well done. Is this something you did yourself, or did you outsource this?
I did it myself.
You did it yourself?
No, I built it. Yeah. So I have a background in online learning. It's my master's is in online learning and teaching and best practices in that. And so and I develop e-learning as well as part of my role. And so over the course of the years, I've picked up oodles of coding skills. So comfortable coding, and then it's WordPress based, right?
So
WordPress.
You're not scared of computers.
No, not scared of computers at all. I won't break them. I can always fix them.
Right.
I'm curious, how did you come up with the name, the Florentis? Does it have a significance?
It does, sort of. I have a background in science. So science is sort of my first passion. And florin is Latin for flourish and grow. And so it sort of takes that, teaching vibe and that sciencey growing plants, that sort of vibe and puts it together as Florentis. So
that's cool. I like that. That's pretty cool. All right. So let's dig into this, because this was actually really interesting. I was looking around at it, and this looks really good. This is very interesting. Why don't you just tell us all about it? I mean, where
you can share your screen.
The idea. Oh yeah,
share your screen
I might if we give the permission.
Sure. So I have been teaching online for 8, 9, 10 years, a while. And I've used all sorts of different curriculums. And I was, I had contributed to another curriculum and had used I was perfectly happy, of course, with my lessons. But, when you don't make them, sometimes there's lessons that you're like, this doesn't really work for me. And I have a student, his name is Bobby. And so some of this probably is to credit to him. He is 6. He's from China. He is your typical super energetic boy. His mom wants him to learn English, and he needs to click and do things. And so I was taking my lessons and rebuilding them so that they were in Genially and adding more and more things that he could click and do, and he could answer himself. And I, was talking to other teachers like Jay, and ultimately I was like, well, I can put this all together and package it for people and put it out there. So right now I have about 365 lessons available, and I had speaking lessons. I had, some of my core lessons. I've of course added lots to that since, and I've added the phonics lessons. I had some writing lessons. So I sort of put everything together in a package. And one of the things that I wanted something that was very cohesive across all of the lessons. I wanted something that was really built on, best practice, sequencing, that was going to help students prepare for Cambridge exams, that incorporated listening activities, that incorporated reading and writing and all of the things. And so that is what I did. And so Bobby, to his credit, Bobby is just finishing level 1 and his sister is in level 2. And I also really wanted topics that were interesting. So, I've gotten into things like going to the beach or the movies or going shopping at comic book stores instead of for groceries. So a wide variety of things. This is a level 3 lesson. So A1, very based in terms of Cambridge levels, and really focused on making sure that I've covered all of the vocabulary, because one of the things that I find is that parents will say, oh, by the way, Phoebe's taking her Cambridge exam next week. Can you help her prepare? And I'm like, oh,
In the next week,
Like,
sure, no problem. What could go wrong
Right.
here?
And so I wanted to be able to say, you know what, that's okay. We've already been working through these types of activities. I've done a lot of test prep with some of my students. And so even in terms of the types of reading comprehension questions, the types of grammar questions, the types of activities, listening questions, the types of activities that I've put in and the way that I have organized them, I have made sure that they sort of echo and give them experience with that. Because one of the challenges is with the students who go and take the test is that they're just not familiar with the test questions. Because if you look at some of their scores, often their lowest scores are in their reading and writing component, which is hilarious because most of us, when we're teaching, they're reading, they're answering your questions. You're like, oh, of course, they should do fine on that. But if you look at their scores, they're actually really low there. They typically do well in the speaking. Although as they move up sort of into the exams, they need a little bit more focused speaking prep, just so that they're familiar with the types of questions that they're going to get. But they struggle with that reading and writing, and sometimes with the listening. And there isn't a curriculum that really integrates, listening activities.
Right.
So
Now the listening, are you using like your voice or other real people's voices, or are you using AI voices?
it's mostly it's mostly my voice, another real person's voice, and then some AI voices, although my AI is pretty realistic, I think.
Okay.
Because I don't have a male voice.
You don't know
some
any other
audio.
male teachers? You don't know a single
Well,
male teacher?
I can certainly conscript you into some recordings there, Jay, for sure.
You really don't?
Um,
I just don't know any. Oh my gosh.
Right.
The other thing that I've done is, and these are available on my YouTube channel, but I've done a ton of custom songs.
Oh, you made the actual videos too.
Yes. So they've got songs and videos. So this is one of them. I'll just play a few seconds. Oh, I don't think I shared sound. I don't want to go to YouTube. Save that. Let me fix my sharing because no one will hear anything, and that would be really not as
Weird.
interesting.
Weird. It would be weird.
Yeah.
Let's go to the movies. Come with me.
Come with you.
I've got my
So very
ticket.
colorful songs.
I'm so happy.
Me too.
Would stand in line.
What we see.
A superhero.
Superhero.
Funny or scary.
Scary.
Ah! Popcorn. Lemonade too.
Yum.
3D glasses.
Wow.
For me and you.
Me and you.
Find my seat.
Up here.
Lights go down. Big screen.
Going to jail.
Golem.
Super Batman.
Batman,
You have Super
exactly.
Batman. I've never seen Super Batman before. He had
No,
the Batman mask and the
isn't.
Superman outfit. That was great. So, who did the singing, or was that a song? Is that an actual song already, and you just overlaid the video?
No, it's AI created.
Really?
So I create the
Yeah.
lyrics. Yeah, and then I use AI to help me with the music. And then I
AI
do a
are
little bit
you
of
using?
editing. I'm using Suno
Suno.
AI.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it does a pretty good job, and the songs are, different enough. You can give it styles, you can give it exact lyrics, all of those things. And it gives you some really interesting music, but I like it because I can make them very, very tailored to
Right.
the actual lesson,
Right.
and ensure that, for instance, in the one that I have about, which is in a level 1 animals unit, it's like, what is this, right? It's a cow. What are they? They are goats. So, very much incorporating the sentence frames and question frames from the unit as well into the song itself. And that particular unit gets into, plural and singular. So 1 cow and 2 goats. And so it's sort of fun to be able to do that. I've got about a dozen of the songs now are done and custom, with more sort of coming out all the time. But it's sort of another piece that's fun, right? Like, it's like, oh, I can make this a little bit more fun. And my students certainly do pretty quickly learn to learn the songs, right? It's funny how quickly some of them are learning and they can sing them, and
Mhm.
so it's interesting. Music certainly is a big feature in helping students learn. One of the things that you'll notice is the 5 stars. So for people who've taught with some of the big companies, 5 stars is sort of a, typical feature that you see. So even if you're in something like Zoom, you can very, very easily reward your student, and they can get their 5 stars, and, you can have those
Now,
conversations. And
so these lessons, are they meant to be used on Zoom, or is that the only place you can use them?
no, truthfully, they're best in a co-browser like Koalago. So, and the reason for that is you give control to your students. So you can certainly use them in Zoom, but something like this, then they're drawing lines and annotating, versus if you're in a browser, you can get them and let them actually drag the letters, right, to spell the word. So there is spelling in the lessons as well. There are, some of the
Yeah,
times,
that's something I don't see very often because I've used
no,
a whole variety of online curriculums like yours, and I use yours also, by the way. And that's yeah, spelling isn't something I see very often.
and the challenge with that is they don't put that connection together as quickly, right? If you've
Right.
got them actually spelling, it does help
The
with
the
reading the words and learning the words and
yeah,
the
the
phonics,
phonics.
and
Yeah, the phonics doesn't really do any good unless they're actually doing spelling. You know what I mean?
exactly, right? Like,
Or
it's
even you could even be the other way around. The spelling doesn't make any sense if you don't do phonics too.
Yep.
so
I do know that
it's part of that puzzle.
in Zoom, I do let some of my students use the remote control feature, the students I trust anyways. So you can do that in Zoom too. You can let them, I have to train them on how to use that, but yeah, you can pull them
And I've
around.
done that with some of my students as well, right? Some of them I trust, and others I wouldn't let take control of
Yeah.
the computer for
Right,
sure.
that's me. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm letting any of my students get control of my mouse. Not a chance.
That's pretty cool.
Then when
This
I'm
is
teaching in a
different.
co-browser,
Yeah,
Bobby,
so
my crazy student,
some
likes to give
people
himself his own stars.
so so I know what a co-browser is, Nichole does, but there might be some people out there that don't. What actually is a co-browser?
So a co-browser essentially is just an internet page that's shared at the same time. So if we're looking at a co-browser right now, you have control of my screen, I have control of my screen, but we're both viewing on our own computers.
Right.
And it is essentially pulling up the exact same page at the same time. So if I draw on the screen, you see it. If you draw on the screen, I see it. And of course, it has, the ability to draw with different colors if you want to draw still. It has things close. It can be you can drag things. This is one of the random
Picture
games. The
flippers.
students can
Yeah.
click it themselves.
Yeah, I have students
And
that like to just mash the click button 100 times.
right. Oh, I don't like that word, and I just click it so fast so my teacher doesn't see it. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
I have
right.
students that like to do
Right.
that as well.
I think of
No,
a co-browser as like a shared Google document at the same time. That's how I think of it.
Yeah, and that's a really good description, Nichole, for sure. Like it's like that shared
Now,
description.
something I noticed early on with your lessons is the other online lessons that I've looked at, you went with a completely different color scheme. Why did you do that? Yours aren't the typical bright reds, bright yellows, bright orange. These are kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. Earth tones, I guess. Why did you do that?
So
If you have,
part of
maybe
it
you don't
is
have
the
a
colors
reason.
I sort of like, right?
Right. Okay.
I like greens, I like blues. And so part of it was that. It was I did want to differentiate it, right? I wanted this to look different. I didn't want it to look the same. And I wanted the imagery to really be able to sort of stand out and be that main attraction in the lesson.
And I
And
like that you
so
use these, I guess, Pixar type images. I really like those.
yeah,
I really like them. And I could go for some of
they
that
really appeal to
popcorn.
the students, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it
so
looks like a lot of the modern
students like
movies.
them.
Yeah.
Exactly, right? And the thing about it is even if I'm using this lesson with an adult, I can, right? Because it's just like that Pixar sort of idea, and there's no reason that we couldn't have the same sort of conversation with an adult about, movies and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't it yes, it's very child friendly, but it doesn't necessarily scream children at the
That's
same time.
exactly what I was going to say. It just doesn't
Right.
scream like little kid.
Right. Because
Right.
it's,
it just it just says
sometimes you
young
get
learner.
sometimes you get like a 13-year-old that's at like level 0.5. Oh, that's
Yeah.
at like level 0.5, and you don't want to bring a little kiddie lesson in. These will appeal to a wide variety of ages right now.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Right? This is one of the things it's not in all of them yet. It's fairly new. But I've always had students where it's like you want to have them switch, right? So you want to have them have the opportunity to lead and you to have the opportunity to lead. And so this is my teacher head, this one. Sorry, Jay, we'll have a very Jay looking teacher head. And this particular image here
I'm out of
it
here.
corresponds to the vendor chosen at the beginning. So, and it's
Okay.
also the same image that's on that welcome, like hello, Phoebe, right?
Mhm.
That same student appears. And then you'll also notice that it puts their name into the lesson
Right.
as well. So this way you can drag your people in, right? Who's reading what, and everyone knows who's reading what. They can choose what they want, right? I'd like some popcorn. Great.
Okay.
But then we can switch.
Okay.
And my students usually help me put my people where they need to be. They're usually pretty quick at that. Uh, but I teach in a co-browser, so they're grabbing them as well. But you can have that conversation. If you're in Qualago, you can actually drag the heads, right? You can take your heads and you can put them right on your screen. But if you're not, you're in Voov, you're in Zoom, you don't have that luxury. You can still have sort of that simulation of who's speaking and switching roles.
Okay.
So this one is sort of fun in terms of having that role play. And then some open speaking stuff. So we've seen, the vocabulary building, the phonics with the spelling building, the listening activities, the reading comprehension, and getting right into speaking, both open and structured speaking. So lots of pieces in sort of each of these
And
lessons.
how long does it take you to make one of these? Not the ones you
Depends.
brought over, like a fresh one. New one.
Fresh one. So the hardest part was figuring out once I had my template, right? And the hardest part is always figuring out the first couple of lessons or the first couple of units in a level.
Right.
Because it's like what is it that I want to have? How do I showcase what types of games? And so my phonics lessons right now, I can make, fairly quickly because I've got that pattern down pat. And there is some consistency, right? So there is this warm up where, I have this is Hal Hippo. Hello, I'm Hal. The background changes, right?
Is
But
it Brenda?
we still have it's me.
It sounded like Brenda.
That was my attempt at a different voice for Hal Hippo. This is one of the brand new phonics lessons.
Uh-huh.
And so incorporating sort of the kinesthetic, right, with the movement. So we can draw H's in the air, we can trace them on the screen, we can grab our pen and draw those in. Obviously, if you change your color. All of the lessons, of course, when I'm teaching, I always make them large screen and take them and have them fill the whole screen so that the student just sees the lesson.
Right.
There's a chant in them, so each of them does have a chant. So it becomes faster for me to create these, but I'm still probably a couple of hours in just even a simple phonics lesson.
Mhm.
And then some of the higher level lessons that are more advanced, they're a lot more
So
challenging. So
speaking of that, what levels do your lessons fall in? Like,
yeah. So I have essentially pre A1 to B2 in
okay,
terms of Zephyr levels. And I have levels. I've divided it at the moment into levels 1 to 6. I do have some plans for a level 7 to take that to the next step.
Okay.
But essentially, we're working with levels 1 to 6. And then I have 3 levels of speaking lessons at the moment, sort of what I've deemed beginner, elementary, intermediate.
Mhm.
And I have
Oh, your
one
puzzles are
level.
great, by the way. The
You like
pieces
the
stick
puzzles?
together. They stick together. I like that.
Yes, they do. And then you
Yes.
get a trophy when you get them in the right spot, right?
That's why I'm here. I'm here
One of
for the
my favorite
trophies.
students like this. I like this monster dude. Anyway, he eats things. So he eats all sorts of things in the lessons. In this particular one, he eats letters and you can come up with the sounds or the letter names. But he eats clothing, he eats words, he eats all sorts of stuff in different lessons. So that's sort of fun. And all of these guys that you see, like for the phonics lessons, I've used characters. So this is Iggy Iguana. I've got Hal Hippo. I've got Ron Rat. I've got Ben B. So all of them have a name, and so that's fun too because you can sort of associate and remember that.
Cool.
This one is a new one. Can crack the egg.
So I'm really interested in I'm using some of your lower level stuff, but I need that beyond the B2
C.
for some students. Yeah, I wouldn't quite call them C-level students, but they're close. They're students that have passed the KET, but they're really not, I wouldn't call them C-level yet. They passed the KET. Maybe I even have a few that have passed the PET. I need
Yeah.
something that I don't have to
So
create because I don't like
if they
doing that.
pass KET, they certainly would fit well in even the level 5, level 6 lessons. They work quite well for those age ranges. This is Ben B. Ben B also is in his garden and he spells words. This was one that Hal can climb. He can climb up to his treehouse after he reads all of his words. And he gets in his treehouse and he has a trophy. These ones you drag in, you read your words, you get your picture. So I think, and even those that are approaching, some of the topics, if we look at the level like 6 topics, level 5 topics, some of the topics are, not topics necessarily that students are going to have done. So there will be new vocabulary in there for them, a little bit more in the way of science vocabulary. So, healthy living, extreme natural disasters, inventions, feelings and emotions, human anatomy, and plants around the world. These are all much more advanced lessons. So you can, grab, say, telephone. This is a level 6. Now, these ones are some of the ones that I rebranded and brought over. I do have in level 4, I've started to add some of my newer lessons.
Okay.
Cool. Oh, yeah, there it goes. And these ones you'll find are they were originally in Google Slides. So I've left them in Google Slides, but they do have that rebranding.
Okay.
And
you did all the rebranding yourself?
Yep. Yep.
You did? You didn't have any help?
On my rebranding of these ones? No, I didn't have help on these ones.
Oh, okay.
I have help now that helps me. Jay
You
helps me
have
find a
an
virtual
amazing
assistant.
VA, I heard. Somebody told
Yes,
me.
she's awesome. Yeah. So she's been helping me for 3 months now, I think. And yeah, she's great. She's learned lots of things, but she's pretty able to sort of take my ideas and bring them to life. You will hear her voice in some of the listening.
I heard her in one, and I went,
Did you?
I know that's the VA because I talked to her. I know who that is. I know who that is.
These are pretty good. I'm really enjoying these. I love this color scheme and the modern feel to it. And I also like that I feel like it's a very unique approach.
What
It's
level
not a
is
lot of the
this?
same boring it's just like recycled all over in every curriculum. So I like the fact that, like you said, you went to the movie theater instead of the grocery store and things like that.
What level is this lesson? Level 6.
Level 6.
Okay,
Yeah.
these are pretty
good. Yeah, so if you're looking for something for those students, I've certainly used them with students of that level. And they certainly are, are lessons that work. Where is is it this one? Maybe. Some of these are in Genially. Yeah.
Yeah, I much prefer Genially lessons. But I do notice that lately I've been having some problems in Koala Go getting Genially lessons to load. Have you noticed that lately?
Occasion, but usually if I just close the tab and restart it, it has been fine. So I don't know why, right? But they sometimes are, whether it's slow or it just seems to be spinning. So this is level 6 again. So, getting into Genially and coming up with synonyms and antonyms. So it's obviously, a very different way to introduce the vocabulary.
Yeah.
Right. So providing sort of that and then having them generate some
I don't ever
ideas.
see anybody introducing synonyms and antonyms when they're doing this stuff. I like that.
But it's a great way to expand vocabulary.
Oh,
right?
yes.
And then using.
Now, these lessons, are these set up for like 25-minute classes or 50-minute classes or what's up?
So they're hopefully in the range of that 25-minute class, particularly the lower levels they are. Some of my upper levels, depending on the student and whether they're sort of in the right.
I could see this lesson going for 2 classes, to be honest.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, because we've got quite a story in here. We've got dialogue, right? There is a lot in this, and if you really dig into the opinions and dig into do you think that she made the right decision to speak up? Why or why not? Like, dig into some of that stuff.
I like the prompt questions.
Yeah, well, because then those get added, right? Because sometimes I'm in there and I'm like, oh, this is a good extension question. And I flip open my lesson and I add it so that, I remember the next time, but also then, other teachers have those ideas, because extension is certainly, sometimes people are really good at it and sometimes people struggle to extend. And if I have an idea, I just go in and throw it in. So, and then this has a full set of listening as well, right?
Okay.
So this one, I would say for me, I probably would do it over the 2 lessons and sort of take the first part, like that vocabulary, the dialogue, the speaking part, and then do reading and listening in the second part. This is all the same listening piece, but there are different questions
Right.
to go with it. And then schwa sounds.
Schwa.
And this is word study and interjections. So things like, oh no, yikes, and oh dear. So you can get into that colloquial language.
I feel like Scooby-Doo needs to come out.
I had an old school Batman thing I was gonna say, but it's like old school.
Well, and these ones,
black and white.
there's not right answers, right?
Right.
But it's a great opportunity. So this is going to take time to go through and say, oh yeah, that's a great answer.
Yeah.
I could say,
I could.
Oh, I forgot.
I could
use it in most of them.
One of the students that I'm probably going to move to this. There's no way she could do this in one class. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way.
So, and then again, lots of opinion questions, right? So,
good.
You don't need to use them all. You can use them all. You can you've got, options. So,
I really like opinion questions, but I feel like I'm always explaining that there's no wrong opinion.
Right. There's no data with it.
They're worried if it's wrong. And I'm like, no, it's not wrong. It's not my opinion. So therefore, yes, it's wrong. But,
yeah.
Yeah.
But, the more you do it, the more they sort of get that understanding, right? I'm allowed to have an opinion. And some of that is cultural.
Like hitting them with it. Yes, it is. Gotta keep.
The other day I was teaching interruptions. And it's a small group class and they're Chinese students, and sort of how to politely interrupt, like, excuse me, or,
pardon me.
May I ask a question? Pardon me, all those types of things.
Mm-hmm.
The whole concept of interrupting in the first place was like completely foreign. Why would you do that?
Right.
Right, for sure.
I have an entire set of students where I had to ban the word I don't know from class.
Oh, God, me too. I said, you're not allowed to say I don't know. It's an opinion. You can't say I don't know.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's always an answer.
Right? I told them it was okay to say I'm unsure of the answer, but I think it's this, but you can't say I don't know.
Now, I know what the price is for this, but tell us what the price is and what's included in all that.
So the complete classroom curriculum is $9.99 a month. It gives you everything. So it gives you let me go to the courses page.
Oh, you can get a lifetime for $500.
You can get a lifetime. Yes. And if you're Canadian, you can also get everything at par. So please reach out to me.
Are these U.S. prices or Canadian prices?
They are U.S. prices, yes. But I will, because all of the other curriculum's priced in U.S. dollars. So I either had to price my curriculum so that it looked like it was more than everyone else's, or stick with sort of the accepted U.S. Option. And so I just went in U.S. dollars and
okay.
But I will.
You can.
So if you're.
So you can actually just buy one level at $5 a month, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you just are teaching, say, level 2 students, and you just want level 2, you can pick that up. Once you sort of have expanded to 2 or more levels, then you'll want the complete curriculum. You may want the complete curriculum anyway, in that
I
if you
would
have
think
level
so,
1 or 2,
yeah.
you probably want the phonics, right? So
Yeah.
you want to add the phonics with it. You probably also want then the beginner English, right?
Mhm.
So that you can do the Let's Speak beginner, so that you can, pull pieces in and add and supplement. And they complement each other nicely.
And do you have
So
a trial lesson? I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off tonight. I'm
do.
really sorry.
Okay.
Do you have
I
a
have
trial
trial.
lesson? Yeah.
Yep. So if you just go to the main courses page and choose the Florentis free sample pack, you get there'll be a button to hit enroll. So just hit enroll. And you get 17 lessons, which gives you 2 lessons per level.
Okay.
And it gives you 3 conversation lessons, one for each of the levels. And it gives you a writing lesson from the beginner sentences lesson, and it gives you a phonics lesson as
Oh,
well.
wait a minute.
So you get
Writing curriculum.
see,
Is that like
I have writing curriculum.
complete, like, or is it
So
still just low level?
right now it's writing for beginners, so it's
Okay.
low level. I have it all planned out, and I will be adding more writing. But right now, if you're using levels 4 to 6, there is downloadable homework sheets, and lesson 5 and 10 both have writing assignments. So you can either give them as homework and have the students do that. Or if your students don't do homework, which of course lots of us have students who don't do homework, you can pull up those writing prompts and actually do those in class. And so when I'm teaching writing in class, I will use my whiteboard and sticky notes if I've got a group class, or else I'll use the chat, we'll dictate, they'll type, all those types of things. You can, of course, share if you're using Koala Go, you can take that image and put it right into your whiteboard in Koala Go
Mhm.
and write all over it. So lots of options that way. But the writing at the moment is just my writing for beginners. It takes you through things like capital letters and punctuation and what is a sentence and all of those types of and a little bit with descriptive writing, a little bit with lists, all of those types of things. And the lessons correspond really nicely with the level 1 too. So you might say, oh, I just did the Let's Eat level 1 unit, and you want to jump over and do my favorite meal. Or I've done the things in my home and I want to do my home unit. So you can use that that way. The other thing that you'll notice is that my units are not consistent. They are not all 10 lessons. They are as many lessons as you need for that unit.
Okay.
And so you might have 5, you might have 6, you might have 8, you might have 10, but a lot of them are 5. And
Is there
I've
an
tried.
assessment at the end of each unit?
Yeah, there's a review at the end of each unit.
Mhm.
One of the things that's not done yet, but I have been working on, which is this will be the first I've said it out loud. So I'm actually building assessments. So there is a complete placement assessment tool available now. It's available for free, same as a sample pack. You just hit enroll now. It gives you the general English assessment, a writing assessment, and then it also gives you access to my learning plan generator and template. So once you have done the assessment, you can plug in the information into the learning plan generator, and it will give you some suggested short-term and long-term goals. It will give you a suggested learning plan, and you can copy and paste that into the template. I will figure out why that's not appearing at the moment. It usually does. But it's super fast, especially if you struggle with goals. So that is there already. But what's coming is a mid and an end of level assessment.
Okay.
And so they will be similar to my general English assessment, but essentially you'll do like say 6 units, and then you'll do an assessment, and then you do another 6 units, and you'll do an assessment, which is a great opportunity to review and consolidate that information, to put it together with some speaking, to practice that listening. But it's also really good preparation for students who might be doing Cambridge exams. So that is
Okay.
coming. I have been planning those. It's It's my thing. I'm like, anyway, I think it'll work really well with some of my students, and I want to get it out as part of the curriculum. So,
All right, cool.
been very
So when
focused
you
on trying to build lessons.
So when you say that $10 a month, basically $9.99 for all of them, that includes all of your available curriculum, like speaking, ESL, writing, phonics, like everything, right? All in one.
Everything. Yes, all in
That's
one.
pretty reasonable.
That's
Yeah.
really reasonable.
And
And
there's 366 lessons there at the moment.
And right now, you're everything from pre-reader to level the separate fee, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that sort of that upper level B for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's lots to pick from, right? Lots of really interesting, engaging topics.
sure.
Lots more coming.
Are these set up where, to be honest, with some of the online curriculums that I'm using, I come to a unit and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do this. I hate doing number lessons. I just don't like doing them. I usually skip them. Is that does that affect the progress of the student if I were to skip lessons in yours?
It shouldn't, unless you skip a lot of lessons in a
Right.
given level. It shouldn't drastically affect them, because there's lots of review and repetition. And one of the things that I've done as well is, for instance, weather. In level 1, there's weather, right? Which is like basic. It's sunny, it's rainy, it's cloudy, it's whatever. And then after you've done the weather unit, at the beginning of the lesson, it changes from how are you today to how are you and what's the weather. So you get
Right.
that
Right. I've seen that.
screen where you get to practice, right? When you get to level 2, there is a weather forecast,
Yes.
which is another weather unit, but now you're doing weather that's a little bit more complicated word-wise, right? Thunder and lightning, puddles, storms, foggy skies, rainbows, and dew. But you're using, simple future tense as well.
Mhm.
But you can review sunny, rainy, all
Sure.
of your basic weather words as well.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to sort of move those types of concepts through. Like in level 1, you would do let's eat. In level 2, you do food and food groups. In level 3, there's an in the kitchen unit. In level 4, there's a restaurants unit where you're ordering in restaurants. So, there's lots of opportunity to sort of build on it, to review, to come back and to do it again. There are phonics built into each of them. So, but a lot of that, again, there's lots of repetition and opportunity for that. So if you skipped an entire unit and we were focused on short A, well, it's not the only time they're seeing short A, right? And building short A.
Right.
Oh, it's not going to be the end of the world by any stretch if you decide to skip things. At the same time, I'm hoping that the units are like, oh, these are interesting and engaging and you don't really want to skip. But it's that's sort of my thing.
Yeah,
I've been
there's
trying to take boring and build them into interesting topics instead of boring topics.
I'll
I don't want to teach boring.
I'll be anxiously waiting on the advanced writing. I've got I just picked up a new student from Hong Kong that doesn't speak any English or doesn't speak any Chinese, but he's from Hong Kong, and they want me to help him with his writing, and he's 10 years old, but he's a IB student, international batch. Yeah.
Laureate.
So he's much more advanced at writing than anybody else in Asia that I've taught at that age.
And what types of writing are you going to do with them, Jay?
Yes. We're still working on that. Today we did similes and metaphors. This was our first class after his trial. So I'm still working on the plan.
Okay.
But his writing, the the feedback before the trial that I got from his mom is, I don't really consider it a problem, but his mom does. He uses normal vocabulary and normal sentence structure. He's 10 years old. don't expect Alfred Hitchcock, or that was
Yeah.
the wrong one, but you know what I mean. Don't expect a masterpiece at 10
Did
years
she
old.
actually say that?
Yes.
And so does she want him to use more academic writing or?
Yeah, it's more academic writing. And so
Okay.
right now I'm breaking him of using contractions, can't, don't, isn't, aren't.
Yeah.
For academic writing. I told him, I said, for normal writing, it's fine, but not for school. Can't do that in school, but stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm
I
anxiously
have a
looking
student
for
who's
material.
14, 15 that I teach a writing class to every week.
Yeah.
And so I theoretically just have to take the lessons that I already teach and put them to a format that I could. Yeah, like we've done, linking phrases, we've done cause and effect essays, we've done, we've done what else? We've done a whole bunch of stuff, right? So I've had her for almost a year, I think.
Yeah.
And so we're working on essays and like the 5-paragraph essay structure and those types of things. So she definitely is in that. We've done opinion writing, persuasive
The
writing.
one thing about writing classes that I don't like is there's a lot of silence in class. And
It depends.
I
I don't write in class.
Yeah.
Which sounds strange.
No,
so my
it doesn't
students
sound strange.
bring writing homework to class, right?
Yeah.
And we then edit it together.
Yeah.
That's my approach.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's exactly how I do it as well. It's all homework, and we talk about it, discuss it, improve, and edit and all that in class.
Yeah, we do that.
And then I usually do a mini lesson, right? So my mini lesson today, and the problem with putting what I do on paper and on slides is that my mini lesson is usually a reaction to the writing that I've received for homework today.
Oh, you picked up something that they were doing and decided to make a lesson out of it. Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But for parents who want writing classes, I tell them they have to do homework. And if they don't do homework, I tell them I don't teach them writing. So
right. I'm telling you, man, writing in class, man, I'm like, I have to force myself to stay away from YouTube or Facebook or any distraction.
It's not even that. I just feel like it's a waste of their money, and it's a waste of like they're paying me as a native, English teacher, Canadian teacher, to watch their child write. Like
what though
20 minutes for class.
I was talking to the mom of this student, and he's like any other kid. He can't type. And I told her that, I said, though, the learning how to type on a keyboard is actually a skill that they do need to learn, because this writing by hand, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how many kids are like in junior high who are writing out answers to me. And I was like, I don't want to give away exactly how old I am, but I had to type it even then.
I think it's because, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's because I don't know what their keyboard looks like. And I always have considered it to be a cultural thing. Like because I speak French as a second language, and when I write in French on my computer and we use the same letters, I have to change my keyboard to French. And then I have to remember where all of my accents and special characters are because they're not shown on my English keyboard. And then if I'm writing or texting something on my phone, it's even worse because it's so slow. Right. So I don't know whether that is part of it, and that I don't know if they have English keyboards. Because if they don't have an English keyboard, I feel like that would be really hateful, right? Like maybe they do.
They're young, they get over it.
I don't know. I just think it's an important
to me
skill.
that could be part of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's definitely they need to know how to type for sure. But I've always sort of in my small group class, we do some writing, but like minutes of writing. Like, okay, everyone, please write a sentence with each of your new vocabulary words, and then we edit them with each other, right? So we have 4 words, everyone writes their own sentence on a sticky note, and then I swap sticky notes and they edit.
So Meaghan, I thank you a lot. Thanks very much for coming on. I know it was kind of short notice, only a day. But I want to bring you back when you've got this other stuff added on there too, because I really want to see and show people the writing and the next level of the speaking lessons, because I think those are going to be really useful. And attention, everybody, we got a new player in the online curriculums.
Right. So what we've done Brenda so far. We've done who's the other one that did the Genie?
Katie.
There you go. Thank you. And Meaghan. And this one though, I have to say this has been the most unique one that I've seen. So thank you definitely for sharing this. I also like that you do your own videos for the most part. I just really like these videos are your own deal. We don't have to worry about like copyright or anything like that. So I think that's really interesting that you've gone and done that. So I'm sorry, that really did blow me away that you said you did your own video.
We will.
Well, the videos for me are so fun, right? Because it's like I just can't find. If I go and look, you just can't find the right one, or they're too long, or they're too this, or they're like you just. It's easier just to make your own.
So we are going to leave a link to Florentis Learning in the description, and also probably to your YouTube channel and your Facebook group, because you have a new Facebook group now too, right?
I do.
I'm in there, right?
Online ESL Teachers Lounge. So yes.
Okay, good.
Sure you are.
Am I?
It's new. And then on my YouTube channel, you can see a lot of the songs. You can see some of my webinars that I've done. There's some how-to videos. There's things like the tic-tac-toe, which is a custom tic-tac-toe board, or
we even got some instructional videos for teachers on there, right? Yep.
Yeah, like how to teach phonics, how to teach speaking classes. There's the how to do trial lessons. There's a new one coming up, which will be around teaching writing for beginners. So I'm going to do one on that. So, but I'm also open to suggestions if people are looking for ideas. I'm always happy to share my.
Very helpful. Yeah, there's a blog on here and everything.
Yeah.
I'm definitely interested. I think I'm going to test it out on a couple of my students.
For it, test it out. Let me know how it goes, and if you have suggestions or ideas, I'm completely open to that. And I'm also curious what levels people are working on, so that when I'm prioritizing where we're developing, I can make sure that I prioritize where people need additional lessons. So I've been really trying to sort of keep tabs on what people are needing and wanting. And some of it has to do with
why I asked about this. That's why I asked about the C. I have a really odd mix of my own personal students where I'm hitting that age group where they're where they tend to naturally leave for a while. So I'm getting that higher level student, but I also have a huge influx of the lower at the same time. So I'm doing a lot of like the entry level and a lot of the higher level.
Yeah, and I typically hadn't taught a lot of entry level, and now I have the same thing, right? Like some of my older students have sort of left. We'll have still a bunch of like older students that are doing, much more advanced things, whether it's test prep or writing or whatever. But then I have these newer students coming in, and when I really was like, okay, I need something that is interesting and engaging and fits, and so. even things like in the animals unit, you can click on the animals and they make animal noises, right? Like just, like simple things that just make the lessons more interesting and fun, right? So you can, in the
Thank you.
clothes unit, Bobby thinks the best thing is that you can dress the naked person, the person in underwear. But always
Oh,
the
man.
best screen. He gets to drag the clothes and put them on. What are you doing?
The
I'm
boys
putting on
getting the skirt, the
I'm
girls
putting
getting on. Yes, absolutely. That's the only
It's
way
the
to do
best
it.
thing. I can dress the naked people.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I think this is really interesting. And you know what? I think people should try out some of that free packet that you have and give it a
Yeah.
go with their students. This is actually some of the most interesting I've seen in a while. And I have my quite a large library of my own. So I'm not one to normally recommend some of these extra ones, but this one actually looks interesting enough for me to try it out myself. So thank you so much for coming on board and letting us know. Definitely come back when you get some of those higher levels or more of those speaking and writing classes. We'd love to see where you're going with this in this direction. I think this would be really awesome and very helpful to a lot of people.
And we call dibs. When that stuff's done, you're the first podcast you come to. We call dibs.
Yes. Because ironically, both of us need those classes too. So we're definitely interested. So you have to come back 100%. And thank you for showing up on such short notice. That was really cool. I really appreciate that. And you guys really give it a go. Give out a look at her stuff. I personally think $9.99 is a great price for that. I think it's very reasonable for teachers. And I love that you have it billed here on your website as a low prep. So yeah, definitely a high selling feature.
It's J-style lesson right there.
Right, J-style lessons. There we go. All right, Meaghan. Thank you so much for coming to visit with us today, and we look forward to having you come back soon.
All right. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.